So much to talk to. Let's start here. Mayor Lori Lightfoot says Chicago has reached its breaking point, even calling this an emergency. So how is the city supposed to handle more big waves of arrivals bust in from Texas?
Well, the mayor's absolutely right. And in 2022, FEMA only gave the city $5.5 million, which is a fraction of the total cost. Recently, they gave another $4 million, which doesn't come close to what we need to do. So the Chicagoland Democratic congressional delegation is united, pushing FEMA to give the city of Chicago the resources it needs to deal with this crisis.
Any reason why it wasn't the same or more?
I can't explain that. It makes no sense, and it's a major priority for us to get fixed as quickly as possible.
Okay, well, Title 42, of course, was a policy passed during the pandemic under former President Donald Trump. For those who did not watch that town hall last night, let's go ahead and play a little bit of the sound from him where he talked about lifting it being a mistake.
This should not be allowed to happen. How they're not going to do a version of Title 42 or my Title 42, which was tough. If people are sick and have infectious diseases and lots of other problems, we don't want them being into our country. We have enough problems right now.
Just want to get your take on that and the town hall overall.
Yeah, it's curious that the town hall was done on just one of the potential Republican candidates. But overall, Title 42 was during a pandemic, which is over. We have to address the crisis as it is. First, dealing with the political and economic turmoil in those Central American countries that is causing this in the first place, something that President Trump did absolutely nothing to help. And all Title 42 did was prolong this and dramatically increase the number of repeat people coming back to the border for reentry, pushing the problem up. The Biden administration's use of Title VIII at this point in time is the only remedy left, in addition to solving that problem at its core issue.
Let's switch gears here. There was a lot, of course, that was said about that last night, but also overnight, and we've seen Congressman George Santos now plead not guilty to 13 federal charges of fraud, money laundering, theft, public funds, false statements, to go on. He says he won't resign from office. He plans to rerun. House Speaker McCarthy says he won't support him if he does run again, but he's also not calling on him to resign. That's a pretty critical seat, right?
Yeah, well, he needs his vote. So sadly, this is the Speaker of the House putting power over what's right, putting his party over the country. This is a man grossly ill-suited for public office. I would say that even before the indictment came, because it's very clear that he didn't fudge his resume. He is a fraud. The voters weren't given a true picture of who they were voting for. So I can't control this at this point in time. It's up to the courts. The Speaker of the House won't do anything, and ultimately the people of his district.
And, of course, for the debt ceiling, which is another big talker right now, both sides seem kind of dug in on this. Do you see what type of ramifications, not avoiding this, a default could have?
I find myself quoting two former Republican presidents to answer your question. And I want to make sure I got them right. The first was, I can't imagine anybody ever even thinking of using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge. That was President Donald Trump. The second one is the full consequences of a default, or even a serious prospect of default by the United States, is impossible to predict and awesome to contemplate. That was President Ronald Reagan. Let's put a clean bill on the floor. It'll pass with bipartisan support and move forward. Hey, and if you want to talk about long-term addressing of the debt, I was part of that under President Obama, under Simpson Bowles. You want to do that again? Great. But holding the government and our economy hostage is no way to do this.
Well, obviously, we all get hit when the economy fails. So thank you so much, Congressman, for weighing in on these topics today.
Anytime. Thank you.